Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Wednesday, May 18th. Going to get started with today's live stream in about 1 minute. We'll give it another 30 to 60 seconds for people to jump on, and we'll get started right away. I see we have some people joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. We're going to get started here in about 40 seconds or so. If you could smash the like before we get started, it helps support me in the channel, and we'll get started here in about 30 seconds. All right, I see we have quite a few people joining us. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. In this live stream, just going to do a discussion and be real with you folks. Going to talk about how I want all boats to rise together, right? It's good for the whole industry to see all of our MJ companies doing well, and I want all MJ to do well. I hope it does well, right? So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me, and the channel doesn't cost you anything. If you're new here, you can subscribe and take the bell. You've been notified on any future updates. I did get a new filter as well for my mic. Let me know if it's coming in nice and clear. A couple people already said it was much better, but I had some complaints saying that it was a little poppy. Hopefully the sound quality is a lot better. But again, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, everybody. Wanted to come on, just do a quick discussion and just tell everybody that, we need to drop this tribalism. The last few days, seeing the market, the S&P 500 and the broader market drop has really hurt MJ as well. Again, it can always go lower than we think. And that's what I've been telling everybody for the last little while, right? That we need to prepare for more downside. And now's the time where we should all be building each other up, right? When we're down 80 to 90% plus on a lot of our names, we need to drop the tribalism. We need to like I said, we need to be lifting each other up, right? I see so many people just, on socials and stuff like that, just talking each other down and saying, you don't have a clue what you're talking about and what have you, right? It just doesn't do anybody any good, right? And I do videos seeing people saying, why not move on to something else other than MJ, right? MJ's in the dumps, and that's not how I roll. I cover MJ in the bear market, in the bull market. I'm here through the tough times and the good times, right? And quite often, a lot of people need, more reassurance and help in the tough times than the good times, right? It's a lot easier to watch the price go up than watch the price go down. So the whole idea was to just come on. I know it's a little late, not sure. I just kind of decided to go live last minute, but I just wanted to come on and get everybody's thoughts and opinions on, where you're at. If anybody needs any help, let me know. But essentially, I want to see all MJ companies do well, right? I just did a couple of videos. I did quite a few videos actually today and the last couple of days. But essentially, I went over, where's that video at? Is it a live stream here? I did a really important live stream today as well. Really go check that out. I highly encourage you to check that out, but just did a high tide video. I did a video on Tilray and Hexo merging, and it was in this video here. It's not good to see any company go bankrupt, right? I also did a video on Microsoft and Apple. Apple was saved. Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy, actually, and Microsoft stepped in and saved them. You can see here, Microsoft saved Apple from bankruptcy in 1997. Check out that video if you want to learn more. But essentially, it wasn't good, right? Microsoft didn't want to see Apple fail. It wasn't good for the industry. It's not good for any industry when the leaders of an industry go bankrupt, right? That's why we want to see all boats rise together. That's why they created that phrase, all boats rise together, right? And I want to see all MJ do well. I want MSOs to do well, multi-state operators, so the American companies. I want LPs, licensed producers in Canada, to do well. I want I want the small caps, the medium caps, the large caps to do well, but on a level playing field, right? We need to let the winners emerge and see who's really going to be who's going to rise to the top, right? And the only way that that's going to be done is just through time, right? Time trumps all, right? And we're going to eventually see, but I want retailers to do well. I want like I said, Canadian and American companies to do well. I want every single person that's listening to my voice right now to do well. I hope you become an MJ millionaire over the next 5 to 10 to 20 years. There's going to be many, many MJ millionaires minted, and you can be one of them. You can leave a legacy for your family, for your generations to come, and many generations to come are going to be very envious that their ancestors, aka us, got to live through this, right? So how many youngsters are going to just be, oh man, you guys got to live through legalization. You're so lucky, right? But we get, as humans, we're human, and we get so fixated on the price, right? And I mean, rightfully so. Tilray is an example, down 94% since February 2021, and it's easy for us to just get sucked into the price, right? And get emotional. But that's what these market makers want you to do. They want you to get emotional. They want you to make buying and selling decisions based on emotion, not on logic. And MJ isn't going away, right? We're going to see massive, massive adoption. We still haven't even legalized in the US. There's some countries that still offer the death penalty for simple possession of MJ, right? So again, I want all companies to do well, right? I will never, and I see so many different YouTube channels going on and saying why they think this company is going to go to zero. That to me is just absolute insanity. Why would you waste your time? And why? And all these people in groups that, you know, they're in these different groups like Hexo and Tilray, and then all they do is go on there and bash. How much time do you have in your hands? Like, what else do you got? You don't have anything else better to do than to hang around a page or a group that you're not invested in, that you think is going to go to zero, and you find joy in helping or in making other people think that it's garbage. Like, that to me is just ludicrous. Why not focus your time and energy on things that are positive? Why not focus on the winners instead of the losers? That tells me that they were either jaded or they were hurt by a specific stock in the past, and they just want to see everybody else fail. They want to see the company fail. And that to me is not a good human. That is not morally right. You should not get joy by watching other people fail or a company going bankrupt. It's almost as if people just want these companies to go bankrupt so they can make fun. I mean, guys, it's time to grow up here. Life is too short. We need to drop the tribalism. If you think there's not going to be winners in Canada, and you don't think there's going to be winners in the US, I don't think anybody doesn't think anybody in the US is going to be winners. Everybody and their dog, right? All retail investors think LPs are worthless and MSOs are the bee's knees. That to me tells me to be cautious, because 95% of retail investors are wrong most of the time. So if 95% of people think MSOs are the only thing worth owning, that worries me a little bit, because the average retail investor is wrong. So I start to look at the other side of the coin, right? And I'm not going to get into why I own LPs, I own MSOs, I own retailers and ETFs in the cannabis space, picks and shovels, right? There's not just going to be one winner. It'd be naive to say that there's only going to be MSOs that rise to the top, or there's only going to be LPs that rise to the top. Personally, I think there's going to be 2 to 3 LPs in the top 5, and then the rest are going to be MSOs, right? Maybe a couple international, maybe some from the EU. But I think, personally, my opinion, not financial advice, I think Tilray and Hexo are going to be the leaders, the top 5 global leaders in the next 5 to 10 years from the LPs. And then for MSOs, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Curaleaf and Cresco. Those are my top 2 picks for MSOs. And I own MSOs, right? People, like, we're all on the same team, folks. Like, we need to drop this tribalism. It's good when the MSOs do well. It's good when LPs do well. We want the whole sector to do well, right? We can't have this lopsidedness and this tribalism, right? The more stocks are doing well, both sides of the border and abroad, internationally, the more investors that are going to come into the space, the more adoption we're going to get, the more level of growth and maturity in the sector, right? So we want all boats to rise together. Again, I hope that no company does bad and goes bankrupt, right? So many people dissing on Aurora, but there's a lot of people that lost a lot of money on Aurora. I do not want Aurora to go bad. Do I think Aurora is a good company? Hell no. I don't like Aurora whatsoever. But you don't see me coming on here saying that it's going to go to zero and these other companies are going to, it's either going to go bankrupt or these other companies are going to come acquire them. No, like that's not realistic, right? And that's not something we should even really do, in my opinion. We should, if you need to make other companies look bad to make the ones that you're invested in look better, what does that say about you as a decent human being, right? the old saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, right? And it takes more energy to be negative than it does to be positive. It takes more energy to be sad or mad than it does to be happy, right? And I choose happiness, and I choose to be a mature adult about all of this, right? There's going to be winners and losers, and if anybody doesn't agree with something, or if you agree or disagree, explain why, right? Don't just go on there and be your classical, stereotypical, nonsensical internet troll who can barely tie their shoes, needs Velcro shoes, needs help getting their shoes, their shirt on in the morning. Don't just go on there and be a keyboard warrior and say, oh, that company's garbage, or this doesn't make sense, or that doesn't make sense. Actually put because at the end, and then an explanation following that, right? Going on and commenting on something and saying that company's garbage is going to zero does nobody any good. It makes you look like you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And yeah, there's no point of it, right? Just explain yourself, right? I see so many people comment on my videos. Like I just did a Tilray and Hexo video, and somebody commented, oh, would you just focus on something else? Like, bro, give it a rest already. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, go fly a kite, right? I put time and effort to help people understand. And then I get people commenting that Hexo and Tilray are both garbage. And you can tell they didn't even listen to the video. All they did was read the thumbnail or the title, and then they comment nonsense. They don't say why they think a certain way or anything like that. So don't let that be you, right? We can all disagree. We can all agree. But let's have some thoughtful discourse. Let's explain ourselves. Let's not just go on there and bash for the sake of bashing. Again, if you're going on a group and bashing a company, what does that say about you as an individual? That you may not, you don't seem like you're the nicest person, or you might not have that. You might have a little bit too much time on your hands if you're on some of these groups, and bashing a company, right? Why not focus on the company? You get this person telling me, why am I on here covering Tilray and Hexo? Just focus on good companies. It's like, well, why are you on my video commenting nonsense, right? Do you not got anything better to do? This is my passion, right? I don't care if I make another dollar in my life. I've got enough money financially. That's because I've worked hard my entire life, and I've worked smart, right? And real estate and crypto changed my life forever. And then you get people who tell me that crypto's a scam and that I'm crazy, and I'm saying, each to each their own. But I made life-changing wealth off crypto, and I made life-changing wealth off real estate, right? But everybody's a critic. Everybody's got their own opinion, and at the end of the day, you got to look after number one. You got to do you. You can't listen to me. You can't listen to anybody else on YouTube. You need to take what we say or what anybody says and do your own research. I see so many people. Somebody commented on my video today, oh, that Tilray video is 20 minutes. Oh, that's too long. Well, if you can't invest 20 minutes into a video to actually learn, why are you commenting nonsense on my video? You didn't even try to open your brain and understand. And then, there's a thing called a YouTube feature where you can go 1.5 speed or 2x speed. I've got over 10,000 hours invested into knowledge and research and investigation and due diligence into the MJ space. That's not even counting crypto and real estate and everything else, right? Technical analysis and fundamental analysis. I'm more on the technical side. But you guys can't invest 20 minutes on 2x speed, 10 minutes of your time? Like, that's just sad, folks. And those who fail to plan to fail. If you can't invest 20 minutes, how many hours and years do you have to invest to go become a professional at anything? They say it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at anything. And if you can't invest 20 minutes, then I'm sorry, you're probably not going to make it, right? I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. All these people, they want to come on here and be fed permabull. They want, it's time to buy the dip. It's time to buy the dip. Everything's going to 100, to the moon. That's not realistic. I'm a realist. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's, part of the reason why my channel hasn't, a lot of people saying, I can't believe your channel hasn't been blowing up lately. And it's because I tell the truth. And also the YouTube algorithm probably doesn't like some of the things that I say because it doesn't like the truth, right? There's so much censorship. And my channel will grow at the rate that it's going to grow. I do not care how fast it grows. I'm not here to get views like most people. That's great if I get views. That's not the main concern here. The main concern is helping find the truth, helping people get through the BS, right, and the smoke and mirrors, and have thoughtful discourse. Come on here, be a voice of reason and a place where people can go for unbiased and ethical and moral and truthful reporting of news, right? There's so many people on there on YouTube just spreading people full of lies, quite frankly, and it's just because they want the views. So again, I will never deviate from telling the truth. My channel will grow at the rate that it's going to grow based on me telling the truth. And that's just the long and short of it, right? And I will continue. I will be here probably for the rest of my life creating content because this is my passion. This is a YouTube MJ-centric, channel. And, these people commenting on my video, why don't you just stop reporting on cannabis companies? Well, the whole channel is based on, if you go to the About section, your home for interviews, MJ stocks, crypto, and blockchain, right? Crypto and MJ and crypto. MJ is the first thing. It's an MJ-focused channel, and if you don't like it, just find another channel. It's that simple, right? But yeah, everybody's always a critic. Everybody's always got to say something. But that was my rant for the day, and we'll get into some questions here. We've got the Battle of Alberta on tonight as well. Calgary and Edmonton starting here in 1 hour. So I'm looking forward to that. Go Oilers, go. Anthony, thanks for joining the stream. I look forward to these Hexo and MJ industry vids. Yeah, absolutely, right? Like there's tons of people who look forward to it, and then you get somebody who comes on there and says, just stop with the MJ videos. Like it's enough already. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like obviously people get video value out of these videos. And if you don't want to watch it, just don't watch it. Like shut it off, or close the computer. Like it's not rocket appliances, right? To quote Trailer Park Boys, it's all water under the fridge. Just gonna ignore the naysayers and the haters. Yeah, they're. And it's funny, they never come on the live streams, right? Because they don't invest, they don't take time to actually learn things, and they don't want people to chew them out. They come on, as a keyboard warrior behind these private messages and things like that. But you don't see them come on and actually invest time into learning things, right? But yeah, everybody's a critic, and half the time I respond to people, they don't respond back because I actually think about my response and I do a well thought out response. And then quite often they read it and like, oh, that's too long. His response is too long. I'm not even going to read it. It's like, classical, stereotypical, nonsensical internet troll, right? Velcro shoes, probably still got training wheels on their bike. Floaties in the pool, right? I mean, again, it's not me hating on people or anything like that. It's just being real. Like we gotta be adults here. Drop the tribalism. If you're gonna say something, back it up with factual information and real world examples, and let's have a thoughtful conversation, right? But absolutely, Anthony, I agree. Something I need to work on. It is tough. Like people do get under your skin, right? Vincent, welcome. When do you think the MJ market will bottom? It's been a long downtrend. If the NASDAQ drops more, like 10%, the MJ stocks can go down more. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably going to be into the fall. I think it's lining up that crypto. I don't think we're going to enter a new bull market until crypto and tech stocks reach their top. And I think there's a possibility that we could see a spot Bitcoin ETF approved over the next couple months. And if that happens, the stock market and crypto is going to go absolutely ballistic. And if that happens, it could be a couple more months before MJ, right? We know MJ, the Chuck Schumer bill was delayed in April because Ethereum was delayed, and we had a bunch of other delays. And I'm pretty sure the market makers do not want MJ to run and enter a new bull market until tech and crypto top out, right? Because then they're going to go net short on tech and crypto, and then they're going to be focusing on MJ, right? And then it's just cycles, right? That's the whole point. Pursuit of Wealth was identifying these cycles and these upcoming trends before they're a trend, right? Because if the masses are aware of something, you're too late, right? It's like these trolls on the internet saying, why do you cover MJ when it's down? Like, just move on. And it's like, no, the whole reason why I'm covering it is because now is the time to pay attention, right? When we're down 80, 90%, now is the time to pay attention, right? I don't cover tech stocks because I've been saying for months, stay the heck away from tech, and look at how much it's been destroyed, right? I've been doing bearish videos on it, but I'm looking for the next opportunities, right? And again, if we're not focusing on the good and the bad, you'll never learn anything. If you're only focusing on the good, you'll never learn anything. You learn the most from mistakes, right? But again, I think it's probably going to be the fall, right? We're probably going to see safe banking. I did a video on that as well. Check that out. Safe banking having tremendous momentum and a great opportunity to pass Congress. Check out that video. It's a little long. I'm going to try to not make my videos so long anymore. So maybe I'll do like the segment at first, and then at the end I'll do like a Q&A, or I'll just do the video and then come on and do a Q&A because a lot of people are complaining, which is weird, right? Like I spend hours and hours of research and time. Like I watch hours and hours and hours and read hours and hours and hours, and people can't come on and watch a 20 to 30 to hour. I mean, they're just not going to make it, right? Quite simply, unless they get lucky and they buy stuff and it just, maybe they get lucky. But, the stock market isn't somewhere where you just throw darts and hopefully when you need to invest a lot of time. And that's the only time whenever I got successful was whenever I invested a ton of time. I thought I knew everything in the beginning, and then I got humbled, and But yeah, I think it's going to be a couple months before we see MJ really pop. I mean, could we pop and see a massive short squeeze? Absolutely, right? There could be a big company enter the space. There could be safe banking sooner than we thought. There could be multiple other catalysts, but that doesn't mean we're going to be in a bull market, right? Because we still got to confirm weekly and monthly, daily. We still need daily uptrends on the charts. Then we need to zoom out to the weekly time frame. Then we need weekly uptrends. Then we need to zoom out to the monthly. We need monthly uptrends. So in order to confirm weekly and monthly uptrends, that's going to take a lot of time, right? That's going to take a matter of weeks and months. So we're not going to enter a new MJ bull market for at least a few months, in my opinion. So we need to, again, check out my video on hedging, my game plan for hedging, my current portfolio breakdown. 50% of my net worth is in cash. MJ's my least amount of investments at the moment, dollar-wise. I own more crypto than I do MJ. I own more real estate than I do crypto. I own more cash than I do real estate at the moment because it's the everything bubble of 2022. So I'm in the dollar cost averaging approach, and I have a hedge. I'm shorting the S&P 500 as well. And when my short on the S&P 500 goes up and I make profit, I roll that into beating down MJ because MJ has been dropping as of the last few days because the broader market and S&P is dropping, right? So what can you do? I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold or what you need to do as a hedging plan. Watch what I do in my videos and then maybe look at a few other resources as well and then concoct your own plan, right? What works for you? There's no right or wrong way. There's just your way. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. Like as simple as that, right? Those who fail to plan to fail. It's not rocket science, folks. I hope this sector will bottom by July or August. Well, as we know, we typically have a summer lull. Seeing people say that it could be different this time. Well, the fact is it's been the same for the last 4 years. So until it's different, we can't really say it's going to be different this time, right? That's kind of the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So until something different happens as a result, we'll expect the same thing over and over again, right? But yeah, I mean, we all want it to bottom, but at the end of the day, more time to accumulate. And I see all these people, I don't have any more dry powder. Well, when I was accumulating crypto in the bear market, it felt like it was never going to bottom in 2018, 2019. It was a brutal, brutal crypto winter. But you know what I was doing? I was grinding hard. I even lost money to Quadriga. I lost 1 Bitcoin to Ethereum. Today, that'd be worth about $100,000. The exchange stole my crypto. It went insolvent, and it was later. Let's check out the Netflix documentary. It's called Trust No One, the Hunt for the Crypto King. This guy in Nova Scotia created a crypto exchange. It was basically a sham, and he took everybody's money and started gambling with it. And then he lost it all and died of Crohn's in India and took my Bitcoin. There was somebody who lost over $1 million on there. One guy lost his life savings, $400,000. So there's always somebody in a worse position than you. But you know what? I almost quit crypto that day. I almost left and never came back. I almost quit investing in general. And that was in 2018, I think it was. I almost quit investing in general, right? But then I learned my mistake, right? I shouldn't have all my money, and I realized that a lot of it was probably my fault, right? I didn't point the finger and say Quadriga. Initially, I did, but then I say, okay, Rod, maybe you shouldn't have had all your money on the exchange. Maybe you should have did a little bit more research. Maybe you should have diversified into different exchanges. Maybe you shouldn't have had. There's so many things I could have done, right? And if you get knocked down, get back up again, right? And I came back even stronger, and I will never fall victim to a scam. I've got it on a hardware wallet. I've learned everything that I needed to learn. And then crypto went on to change my life. And then I invested in real estate, right? 7-8 years ago in markets where people said, oh, you're crazy buying real estate here. Why not think of Toronto? It's booming. And, some of these properties where I was buying over doubled in 4 years, right? How was I to know? But again, if you're diversified, if you have other assets, and, when I lost that money from the crypto exchange, I even started working Skip the Dishes as a side time. I was working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, sometimes 50 hours a week. And then in the evenings and on my weekends, I would go out and do Skip the Dishes to get extra money to invest to make up for the crypto that I lost, right? But most people just want to go home and kick their feet up and watch Netflix, right? They don't want to do the extra work. So if you don't want to do the extra work, well then, you're going to probably be destined to be paycheck to paycheck. And if you don't do things differently, right? If you get rid of your excuses, your results will start to show, right? The secret to your success or failure is hidden within your daily routine. Let me say that again. The secret to your success or failure is hidden in your daily routine. Let that sink in. Write that down. Put it on your table next to your night table, right? Excuses. Drop them. Get rid of them. What are you going to do? Get creative. What can you do? Can you do Uber? Can you do Skip the Dishes? If you don't have a car, okay, maybe can you start a side business, a little arts and crafts? Can you, I don't know, I'd love a POW group sign. Can anybody design me a POW group sign that has like illumination and everything? Maybe do that and start selling it to content creators, right? Get creative, right? What can you do, to get some extra money, right? And what can you do different next time? Maybe you didn't dollar cost average enough. Maybe you could have hedged. Maybe you could have saved some cash on the side, right? There's things that we can do. People just don't want to take responsibility and accountability for their own actions. You can join a community, right? And bounce ideas off of other people as well, right? The more that you take responsibility, there's no shortcuts in life. And we only get one shot at this, so make it a good one, right? As far as I'm aware, anyway. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope the sector does reverse. Fire and flower, it's like high tide. I just did a video on high tide. So many people saying, I can't understand why high tide's down. Can't understand why GTI's down. And truly, with all these strong fundamentals don't matter, folks. I did a video right here called Fundamentals Don't Matter. Where is it? Fundamentals do not matter yet. Keyword yet, right? The whole sector's down. When the whole sector's in a bear market, all stocks, MJ stocks, are in a bear market. When all MJ stocks are in a bull market, they're all up, right? Fundamentals don't matter yet. It's just like crypto, right? The fundamentals don't matter. That's why you got like Dogecoin and all these meme coins that do absolutely nothing, pumping like thousands and hundreds of thousands of percent, right? If you put $1,000 into Dogecoin in March 2020, a year later in March 2021, you'd be a millionaire. Explain to me that when it doesn't do anything. It has no real world utility, right? So again, the whole sector just follows each other, just like Bitcoin and the rest of crypto follows Bitcoin. We're all following, these individual names are following the rest of the sector. But if we go back to February of, actually, Fire and Flower has been, oh, this is the wrong one, my bad. I was going to say, that's really strong. That's not, I just completely disproved my thesis. There we go, right? New all-time low. Look where we were in February. It doesn't matter what stock you look at, right? Haxo, it's all down. It's all brutal. High Tide, another retailer, down 87, 86%. Fire and Flower, how much are we down from February 2021 highs? Let me guess, 80 to 90%. Oh, yeah, an 83%, right? How do I know that, right? Do I have a crystal ball? Am I a genius? No. It's just when the rest of the whole sector has dropped 80 to 90%, you got to expect your stock or whatever individual stock you're looking at to do the same, right? Look at MSOS, the ETF that tracks all the bee's knees companies in the U.S. Everybody says the U.S. are the only ones worth owning. Well, look at MSOS. Went from 55.91 all the way down to 13.16, right? An ETF dropped 78, 77% of its value, right? That's just insane. But Fire and Flower, again, there's not really any point on looking at any, I did it again. It's not really any point on looking at any individual name in the MJ space. Basically, they're all screaming buys at the moment. I mean, obviously, you want to make sure you pick a good company and do your research and don't just buy something because somebody tells you to. And this isn't financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. But we need to watch HMMJ, the ETF, and we need to watch MSOS, the ETF in the US. As soon as we confirm weekly and monthly uptrends there, there's really no point on looking at one stock in the MJ space, right? It's all heavily correlated. But Fire and Flower, we confirmed a monthly downtrend back here in July of 2021. So when we're in a monthly downtrend, you don't want to be long something, right? It's called a downtrend for a reason. And if you would have just exited there on that lower high and lower low, as soon as we lost $9.40, we confirmed a monthly downtrend. That would have saved you 73% of downside, right? And the whole sector was trending lower. We had all the major warning signs, right? We're in a weekly downtrend. We were holding the EMAs here as support, and then we lost it as support, confirmed resistance, confirmed the weekly downtrend as well. So there was plenty of heads up. It's just following the rest of the sector down 80 to 90%. We need to change weekly and monthly uptrends, right? And at this point, this is all coming off the low on the daily time frame. We're up 30% in about 5 days. So we need to expect a pullback soon because we're still in a daily downtrend. Realistically, anything under 463 is a daily lower high. So we could bounce from here all the way up to here and still be in a daily downtrend. But if we peak out here, if we top out and then come down for a higher low and then break resistance and form a higher high, that's called a daily uptrend confirming. Then we zoom out to the weekly time frame. Then we need a weekly uptrend to confirm. You can see the weekly bounce is starting, but we need to be skeptical because of the fact that we haven't changed the daily trend, right? And if we take a look at the weekly time frame here, anything under $3.95 is a potential weekly bear flag. And again, it's not set up well if the broader market drops, right? So you need to have a hedging plan. You need to have maybe hold some cash, maybe diversify, own other sectors. Than like I see so many people that only own one MJ stock, and they get so emotional. They direct message me and they're getting so emotional, and I'm like, let me guess, you only own that one stock, right? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, man, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If you only own one MJ stock, you're doing it wrong. And again, there's multiple strategies. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold on. I'm not saying my strategy is the right way or the wrong way, but I truly believe if you're only owning one MJ stock, you're doing it wrong. I own like 12, right? I have a top 5 video. Check out my top 5 MJ holdings. I do a top 5 in Canada, top 5 in the US. I also added High Tide, right? So I own MSOs, I own LPs, I own retailers, picks and shovels, I own ETFs, right? I own less MJ than I do crypto. I own more crypto dollar-wise, right? And then you get these people who are saying they only own one MJ stock. And I'm like, you don't own any other stocks? No, like, I don't mean just MJ. I mean any other stock. No, nothing. No. It's like, okay, well, that's the wrong way. You know, I say there's no right or wrong way, but that's got to be the wrong way, right? Like, it has to be. But anyway, let's just take a look. If this weekly bear flag confirms, we could be heading down to about $1.60. That's on log scale. Let me actually just draw it here on the regular scale. Actually, yeah, I like it better on the log scale. You can use linear scale or log scale, but this weekly bear flag is a potential, right? We need to be real with ourselves, and if it's confirmed, that means we could fall down to about the $1.60s, right? So we need to get above to negate this weekly bear flag. We need to get over the 0.382 fib, which is at $3.95. I'd like to see us get over $4 to negate that weekly bear flag. But again, not set up well, right? We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be real and come to terms with the fact that we could see more downside, right? But again, we had all the warning signs in the world, right? The whole sector was bearish, dropping. We had right here, we lost the 10-week moving average. We came back, we kissed it, confirmed resistance, rejected, confirmed a weekly downtrend. Then we had the stochastic and the MACD cross bearish on the weekly, which is a huge heads up that we could see more downside. So there was all the confluence in the world with every one of these names, right? If we go back on the weekly moving averages, you can see here, it was support, we got above it, and generally we ebb and flow when we come back, and here we are. We ended up losing it, confirmed resistance, and then we broke down. Let me guess, we also had a daily death cross. Yep. So see here, we had a bull cross of the 50 and the 200-day moving average. That's called a golden cross. And then we had the 50 come down through the 200 here in August of 2021. So about a year ago, that's called a death cross. The name implies it all. So you could have exited there when we were confirming weekly and monthly downtrends and also seeing the death cross at around $9. That would have saved you a ton of downside, right? So again, we had so much confluence and so many things saying that we're bearish and we're heading lower, right? But again, we need to get away from just looking at one particular stock, we need to watch the ETFs, right? As soon as we confirm weekly and monthly uptrends, we'll be in a new bull market, and at that point, we can focus, more on individual names too. Stefan, just subscribe. Thank you, I appreciate it, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Kisan, bro, how many shares are you holding on Hexo? I've got over 50,000 Hexo shares now, I think, somewhere around there. You think Hexo can go to $20, $30 in 2 to 3 years? If the U.S. legalizes, yeah. If we get safe banking, the U.S. legalizes, they release their Fortune 200 partner, they become profitable within 4 quarters. They're even going to be entering California soon with the Readies and the gel caps. They also mentioned white labeling agreements for MSOs. You could easily hit $20 to $30 if we get U.S. legalization, right, and all those catalysts. Absolutely. Germany legalizing, the rest of the EU. We know Hexo has the EU GMP certified location and facility in Malta. That's going to be their gateway into the EU, right? I recently first heard of Hexo and bought 5K shares. Wow, you're lucky. I bet a lot of people listening to you were in your position, right? And again, everybody has a different situation, right? You get all these people on there bashing and hating Hexo. Well, what if you're just the first time buying it, right? It's a great time to be buying, right? You love the volatility. You love the fact that it's down 99% from the all-time high, right? Look at Cardano, right? In the bear market, my friend bought Cardano at 2 cents, and then he ended up selling it like $1 something. And I watched it. He messaged me, and he turned like $2,000 into like $50,000. Look at that. Cardano went down over 95%, right? Lost almost 99% of its value. It got as low as 0.0177, so just under 2 pennies. And then a year later, it went all the way up to $3.16. Yeah, that's it's called life-changing gains, right? And you're not going to get those gains without 80 to 90% pullbacks. And if you guys think that this is if this is your first time in an 80 to 90% correction in bear market, it's going to happen again. Trust me. Trust me. We're going to enter a new bull market. We're going to see 10 to 20 to maybe 100x gains, meaning if you invested $1,000 into an MJ stock, you could potentially have $100,000 in a couple years. That will happen again. Absolutely. But you know it'll come after that? Another 80 to 90% pullback. And are you listening to my voice? Are you going to be ready for the next one, right? That's the question. Or are you going to quit before, that's what most people do, is they just quit before they actually learn, right? But again, that's the whole reason why I created PAL, was to help you guys not make the same mistakes that I did, right? Fallon, welcome. I have a large position in Tilray, small one in Decibel Cannabis. Also, been buying MJ since November. Yeah, well, I hope both of those companies do well, and I hope you do well. I wish you nothing but success. Nunes Knees, is there Nunes Knees? I still don't know how to pronounce that. Is there an ETF for shorting? You mean an MJ? ETF for shorting in the broader market, I use SPXS. It's the inverse 3x bear. I don't recommend holding this for a long period of time. If you're going to short for a long period of time, just buy regular short shares from your broker. But this is a 3x leverage. They use options in order to get to that 3x leverage, meaning if SPY drops 1%, this thing's going to go up 3%. So this is what I use to hedge and to short. This is an ETF. It's just like buying SPY, right? But an ETF for shorting MJ, I don't think so. Stefan, dude, I love your vibe. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really means a lot. Can't believe this sector can be below March 2020 lows while the overall market are still at highs. Yeah, well, that's what they do, right? It's called the investor psychology cycle. Let me just bring it up. MSOS, the ETF. Look at how gross this chart is. We started at the low, all-time low and open, and initial trade, IPO, right, to the high. All the way down, we gave the whole thing back and then some. What does that remind you of? The Wall Street cheat sheet, psychology of the market cycle. And of course, it doesn't want to load. Here we go. So what does this look like? Does that not look like the MSOS chart? Again, guys, you need to invest time into understanding markets, knowing what a bull market is, knowing what a bear market is, knowing that the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, knowing that the market gets extended to the upside and doesn't make any sense to the upside. It gets extended. Valuations get absolutely insane and they make no sense, right? Tesla trading at like 50 times price to earnings or something crazy like that makes absolutely no sense, right? And eventually they come down and then it gets extended to the downside. Things get completely undervalued, right? That's when like the Warren Buffetts come in and they step in and they buy the heavily undervalued companies, right? But why most people are selling here, this is when you want to be buying, right? You need to get that psychology shifted around, right? People only want to buy when prices are going up because they want to feel vindicated. They want to feel good about the investment, and they're not feeling good because the media is telling them that, you know, MJ's getting crushed, and their friends and their family are telling them they shouldn't have done it. Blah blah blah, right? You invested more than you were willing to lose, maybe as well. Maybe you averaged in too quickly. Maybe you can use the dollar cost averaging approach, short, hedging, holding cash, whatever you got to do. But look at this again, take a mental picture of this. This is going to happen again, right? We're going to go through these cycles where we enter in the euphoria, and you're not going to want to sell up here at this peak euphoria because media is going to be telling you that it's going to 100 or it's going to 1,000 and it's never going to stop, right? And you're going to be greedy and you're going to not want to sell, and then it's going to start to drop and you're going to, oh, I'm a long-term investor now. It'll recover. Oh, see, it's recovering. Good thing I held. And then it drops to a lower low, and then it goes even lower than where it began, and you hate yourself and you end up selling the bottom, right? It's going to happen again. So realize that we're here in MJ, and that eventually, sometime in the future, we're going to be here in MJ, and then eventually we're going to come back down to here, right? And this is the same with any industry. Like, so many people say, why do you compare MJ to Amazon, or Amazon to MJ, or crypto to Amazon, or crypto to MJ, or Amazon to MJ? It's because everything's the same in the beginning, right? In a new burgeoning industry, or in a new cycle, or in a new sector, of course, they're different, but these charts are just human emotions and trends, right? And trends and emotions don't change regardless of the sector or company or stock or crypto, right? But again, Vincent, if you can't believe that it can go lower. It can go lower. And believe me, you should never be surprised again. It's going to go up another 10 to 20, 100x, and then it's going to fall another 80 to 90% because we're not mature. There's so much less money in the space. It's easy for them to drop. I mean, Amazon, for crying out loud, dropped 95% back in the .com days in the bubble, right? If we go back here to Amazon, look at that. In 2000, it dropped 95%. How in the world did they do that? It's because the market cap was only in the billions. Now it's in the trillions. They're not going to be able to drop Amazon 95%. It's just not going to happen, right? And they're going to do that again to MJ, right? So you need to take that mental picture and be prepared, right? Stefan, Fire and Flower is mostly held by Couche-Tard. Yep. I think they own about 70% in Fire and Flower Enterprise. That's why I'm thinking it's a strong one. Yep. And we know that that's likely going to open the way for drinks and things like that to enter convenience stores. I did a video today on Tilray and Hexo. And Erwin Simon, the CEO, said that they're working on getting their drinks in stores, right? And Fire and Flower is going to help that. And the more we have lobbying the federal government in Canada, the better, right? Again, all boats rise. The more we don't want companies like Hexo and Tilray and all these companies to go bankrupt, because that's going to be less pressure on the government. That's going to be even more reason for the government to regulate and just, overstep boundaries and entering all these. Like, we need to see the sector flourish, right? But yeah, Hexo owns Fire and Flower shares, and that's how I've got my exposure to Fire and Flower, and through ETFs. I don't actually own any directly. I'm not sold on Fire and Flower yet. Personally, I never shop there because their prices are insane. I like High Tide. They're doing the competitive pricing and Value Buds, which is owned by Sundial now. But yeah, Fire and Flower, I've got exposure through Hexo. They have some on their in their long-term investments, and I've got Fire and Flower in my my ETF. But I think Fire and Flower has a long way to go yet. But I mean, it's down to 85%, right? Just like the rest of the sector. So as long as you're dollar cost averaging and have realistic expectations that it could go lower, but it's probably going to go much higher over the next couple of years, right? But Fire and Flower, super good company. Like, they're not going bankrupt or anything. They're not going away anytime soon. Like, that's a great long-term pick in my opinion. I'm not sold on the business, and personally, I just think there's better opportunities. But like I said, I think it's a great company, right? I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is my 2 cents. Kisan, thanks, Rod. Keep updating. Always love to see your video. You bet. Thank you for your comment. Thanks for coming on. Orange is the new Bitcoin. Love it. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. Really, really means a lot. I am sold in Fire and Flower. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think they're a great company. I just think that, until they gain my business back, I can't really, imagine Warren Buffett investing in something that he doesn't shop at, or, it's just hard for me to, why would I go to Fire and Flower and pay 10 to 20% more for the same products that I can go to Cannabis or High Tide or a Value Bud, so a Sundial, and pay 10 to 20% less, right? It makes no sense. So until they win me over as a customer, that's how I am as an investor, right? I only invest in companies that I believe in their products and I actually use their products, and I think that they can, that's why I did so much fundamental analysis on Hexo, right? That's how I began to love Hexo, is because I just, every single product they came out with I loved, couldn't wait for the next one. I was a repeat buyer. I could not live, I can't see my life without Hexo products in it. That's just, why. So of course I'm going to invest in it, and I believe in their products. Yeah, they have some issues just like every other MJ company, but I'm a true believer, and that's what Warren Buffett says as well, right? Invest in companies that you think have great products and that are really gonna change people's lives, and they're making they won best innovative product or whatever. But again, retailers, I've got enough exposure into retailers through the ETFs and stuff. That's really all I need. And again, I just took a position in High Tide, my first retailer that I bought, only because of the fact that I did a video on it. But anyway, Alberta recently closed the online store, and now they're leaving it up to retailers. So that was a bullish catalyst, and they're starting to lower their prices, right? That's clawing back market share from the black market. So if Fire and Flower is charging 20 to 30% more than the competitors like High Tide and Value Buds and Cannabis, well, why would I go there? And then why would the black market go to these companies that are charging ridiculously high prices, right? So it's kind of a catch-22, right? Eventually, and there's a lot of consolidation that needs to happen. There's just too many retailers, right? There's too many producers. There's 800 licensed producers in Canada. And then just in Alberta alone, I think there's 500 retail stores. We don't need 500 retail stores. And a lot of them are mom and pop shops, right? Because it's privatized here, which is unfortunate, because a lot of them are going to go insolvent and just bankrupt, right? Because there's just not enough to sustain that. Ontario now, I think, over 1,000 stores, but even there we're seeing saturation in the market. So unfortunately, a lot of the mom and pop shops and the smaller companies are probably going to die off, and that'll be good for Fire and Flower and High Tide and those big retailers, right? And they might even come in and scoop up those, right? So I just think there's a lot of consolidation that needs to be had. But again, not saying Fire and Flower is a bad company. I think there's better opportunities out there personally. But again, you want to have a mix of picks and shovels too, right? You don't want to just invest in gold, right? You want the people who actually made the picks and shovels for the gold rush made more money than the people going looking for the gold, right? So yeah, it's good to diversify and have some retailers, the picks and shovels, and also get into LPs and MSOs and ETFs, right? But yeah, great conversation, everybody. Again, just wanted to come on and say that I hope all MJ does well, right? I don't wish anything bad on any company. I don't want any company to go bankrupt. I want MSOs to do well. I want LPs to do well. I want retailers to do well. I just want all MJ to flourish, right? And have a level playing field, and we'll see who the winners and losers are in due time, right? But going down it there, I still see we have close to 30 people joining here after 48 minutes. So thanks again for joining the stream. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Going to be here on this journey with you guys through the thick and the thin, through the tough times and the good times. And really looking forward to the good times. I think there's going to be a lot of good times ahead, right? We're going to have a lot of fun here in the next bull market. I think there's going to be a lot of MJ millionaires minted, and people's lives are going to change forever. And how many other lives can you change as a result of changing your own, right? That's the main takeaway here. So going to end it there, though. Thanks so much, everybody. If you could smash the like, help support me, and the channel doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future updates. And go Oilers, go. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.